WMFD News, it's Coffee Talk with Jay Fox, the inaugural edition, live from the Cove Coffee Shop in Ontario, Ohio. And joining us, our very first guest. It's fitting that you're our first guest because Richland Bank was our company's very first advertiser.
Well,
Chris Heiner joins us. He's the president of Richland Bank. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Good.
I appreciate it.
Did you know that you guys were our first advertiser ever?
I did, actually. I think that it started in the basement of Richland Bank.
It did indeed. We have this long-term relationship, our companies.
Yeah, probably, how long, 70 years?
Well, no, I wouldn't go back that far. It started in 62. So we're close.
Close, approaching.
We're approaching. But, you know, back in the day, Richland Bank was the anchor of WVNO radio. And you have never been off the air at WVNO. You've been solid with us ever since.
That's awesome.
Long relationship. So let's talk about you.
Sure.
10 under 40. How you get to be the president of a bank under 40? How'd that work out?
Right place at the right time.
I guess, man. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
What did it mean to be one of the 10 under 40? What did it mean to you?
I was usually on the other end of giving out awards, so it was humbling
Right.
In that regard. It was nice. I mean, I know I appreciated it. That's for sure. So it was nice to be honored.
What is the significance of being honored in a capacity like that with Richland Young Professionals? What does it mean?
I guess the big thing is just being honored for hard work. I guess really it's not about me. It's a dedication to our teammates and
Sure.
all the other employees at the bank being able to get out and get involved in the community. It's just a reflection of our organization more than anything.
How did you decide to get into banking in the first place? Were you like the guy playing Monopoly who had to control the properties and the money, or?
No, that was 100% accident. I say 95% of people get into banking on accident. I don't think it's intentional. I have a degree in geology and business, actually.
Well, you know, if you dig deep enough, you might find some money.
It's gold.
Right? Exactly. See, so it's relevant somehow.
Yeah, so,
but how did it start?
I was looking for a job in 2006, right after I graduated. I graduated college in December of 2005.
Where'd you go to school?
At Muskingum College in Southeastern Ohio.
Nice.
Now Muskingum University. But,
oh, yes, we've progressed.
We have. It's still Muskingum College to me.
To you, right. It's like Ohio State is Ohio State to me, not the Ohio State University. But you graduated from college.
Graduated, and one of my fraternity brothers, his now wife, was working as a management trainee at the bank. And I moved into Newark, Ohio. I went and interviewed.
Now, hold on. We got to debate this. Is it Newark or is it Newark?
Well, I say Newark, but I'm not originally from there, so it's...
So because people might look at you a little funny and go, oh, he's not from around here. Yeah. Right.
The shop in town has a Newark High shirt.
That's it, Newark High. Exactly. See, you get it.
Yeah, so I went and interviewed and moved knowing two people in Licking County in Newark. Okay. And... worked my way up through that ring.
So what was your first job at the bank? Do you remember?
I started as a management associate, management trainee.
Okay.
They put me on the teller line at an extended hour office, similar to our Ontario office here in town.
Okay.
And the second day, it shows that I was off balance $13,000. So
holy cow!
I really
What'd
wasn't.
You do with the money?
I reversed our credits and debits. And I remember calling home to my parents and said, I know I just signed a lease on this apartment, but... This might be short-lived.
Might be short-term. So, did you ever think when you started on that first day that it could even be possible that you would end up 10 years later as the president of a major bank?
I actually did. Maybe not the very first day, but looking at the list of people that were started in the same position that I had, and seeing where they were at the bank, gave me a lot of hope. And that was one of the main reasons why I'd say I started at the bank, was the opportunities that presented themselves were plentiful. Dave Gooch, a former president of Richland Bank, sat in the same chair I did in Newark.
Yeah.
So I had some guidance in that regard.
Right.
I knew who he was and how successful he became. And Steve Wells of our one of our other affiliates in Lancaster, Ohio, ended up started as a management trainee and worked his way up to become a bank president. So, and Dan DeLauder, the former chairman and now chairman of the executive committee, was a management associate. So
you had a path.
I did.
Yeah.
I felt that there was opportunities that if I did what I was supposed to do, that I could at least have that opportunity.
And 10 years later, you became the president of the bank.
It was a little quicker than I anticipated, but
Most people in the it's kind of a meteoric rise, if you think about it.
sure.
Because I think about bank presidents that I knew growing up, like Ed Brandon and Dave Daberco from National City Bank up in Cleveland, and they were all in their 60s when they got
Sure.
to be presidents of a bank.
I was 32.
It's amazing to me. 32 years old. So most people have no idea what a president of a bank does. They're like, oh, you're the president. Great. What do you do? What do you do?
Sure. I guess ultimately I'm responsible for everything from commercial lending, trusted investments, and mortgage lending,
Okay.
deposits. Obviously have great people that handle that. I'm pretty hands-off in that regard. I grew up through the residential real estate track of the bank, if you will, and our branch administration, so I tend to gravitate towards focusing on that.
Okay.
Know what I know best. And
Well, one of the first things that happened in your career was the banking collapse
Sure.
in 2008. How did that affect you? What was that like to work in the banking industry during that time?
I was naive in a lot of ways coming through because I didn't know what to happen, but I feel guilty in a lot of ways. At that time, I didn't have anything, so I didn't have anything to lose either, but it allowed rates to drop when people were able to refinance their homes.
Sure.
So I was able to build a client base that then, as things got better, they ended up going and selling that house and buying another house. I had variable rate student loans, so rates dropped on that, so I paid
Well, that was
less,
good news
less
for you,
in
right?
interest.
Exactly.
And stock prices went down, so
Yeah.
I was able to buy some stock on the cheap, if you will.
Right. Buy low, sell high.
Yeah, but it was a foundation. Unfortunately, that it was such a bad time. I didn't know what I didn't know. I just was able to build relationships with people and find
Sure.
ways to help solve their problems.
What was it like to witness people taking a loss? The big joke at the time was, well, so much for my 401k, it's now my 201k.
Sure.
So a lot of people lost roughly half, if not more, of their total asset base.
And that was what it was. It was preaching patience in that regard because they didn't lose anything if they didn't sell.
Right.
And so hope
They lost value.
Yeah, they lost
Right.
paper wealth.
Right. That's exactly
and
right.
hope that it would come back, and it has. It's been 10 years since, and the stock market's done quite well since then.
Oh, it's been phenomenal.
But
If you hung in there, you made money.
yeah, to be patient though, it really is timing of life. I feel really bad for the person that retired in 2007 and had to now use their
Sure.
401k to live off of because they had to sell some of
A lot of people had to do that.
and that's a really unfortunate situation.
How did it affect the bank? Do you remember?
Sure, it was there was scary times.
Yeah.
There were we were always stable.
Now, were you part of Park National at that time?
Yeah, I was part
Okay,
of Park National
okay.
at that time, and
So at least you had the stability of a larger organization.
correct. At the time, there were 12 affiliates
Right.
that were all part of the Park umbrella and family of banks.
Okay.
But it was challenging nonetheless. I mean, the history of what happened here in Richland County. I remember sitting in Newark, and it was like, man, they're not catching any breaks.
Right.
It would seem like there was one thing after another, but now to be here on the other side and see as things are getting better and a vision of where the future holds for Richland County, that's even more exciting.
So you become president of the bank. You're 32 years old. You want to put your mark, because every CEO, every president wants to put their mark on their time. What does the Chris Heiner administration want to be remembered for? What's your brand?
The biggest thing I would want to be remembered for is being able to balance a three-legged stool, if you will, of our community.
Making sure that it's not negative $13,000. You want to balance it, right?
Yeah. Balancing our community.
I'm not going to let you live that down.
I know. Our associates and our clients and customers, and being able to to position ourselves for the future. I really is what I would want to be remembered for.
You know, I came to this town 8 months ago, and I didn't know anybody. I was brand new, even though I grew up in Cleveland. I wasn't familiar with Mansfield. And one of the things I've noticed in my 8 months here is that you seem to have a passion for this community. The schools, our focus, our volunteerism, community growth. What drives that passion, Chris?
Really, we're only as strong as our weakest link in the community, and being able to give back. We've been very fortunate to have the community support us for 121 years.
Sure.
That doing what's right to help the future. Seeing my 6-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son too is very. It's easy to give and to help because I know they're going to reap the benefits of what we're doing today.
Congratulations on fatherhood.
It's been the greatest thing. That's my greatest accomplishment in life is being a dad.
It changed my life when my daughter was born. She'll turn 24 this year. That was the line of demarcation for me. It was everything before and everything after.
I like to say it was somewhat of divine intervention because we went to Kalahari when my daughter was little every year, and December of 2015 we were going up to Kalahari, and we stopped at Diamond Street in downtown Mansfield, and I said to my wife, I looked over at the Richland Bank and I said, hey, I'm going to end up here one day.
Did you really?
And 45 days later, they asked me.
Did your wife laugh at you when you said that?
Like, all right.
Oh, okay, great, Chris.
And I had no basis. I had no knowledge. There was no reason to say that.
Did you have like a premonition, a deja vu or something? Something catch your eye? What was it?
No, I just had, I'm from Orrville originally in Northeast Ohio.
Oh, so you know about jams and jellies.
I do.
You're all set with
Look
that.
at my waistline and you can see.
Walking monument to the menu here. Here we go.
And so I had some, at least, knowledge of the Mansfield, Ashland, Lexington areas from just growing up in Orrville.
And there it was, and you look over, and I'm going to be here someday.
I didn't know in what role, in what capacity, or anything. And then 45 days later, they asked if I would come and be president.
Did you think they were teasing you when they asked you that?
No.
You were waiting for it.
Well, I can't say I was waiting for it. When David Troutman, the CEO of Park National Bank, called and said, "Hey, Chris, I was actually giving a presentation in Columbus for the Home and Garden Expo."
Okay.
And he's like, "Hey, I have a customer for you. Can you come see me when you get back from Columbus?" And I'm like, "Sure, great. I love serving people, so I get to be able to help." And I'm like, "This just seems odd." So I thought that there might be something. I didn't think it was this by any means.
So is it one of those, like, do you remember the movie Major League? Did you ever see that movie? Where the guy called Lou Brown at the tire company and said, hey, would you like to manage the Indians this year? And he goes, I don't know. And a guy on the other line about a set of white walls. Was it kind of like that moment? Or?
No, I remember the word they said, let's rock.
Let's rock. Okay.
He said, well, don't you need to go home and ask your wife? I said, I told her a month and a half ago. Because that was when I said that we're going to end up here someday. And
did you bet her?
Pardon me?
Did you give it? Was there a bet between you and your wife? See, I would have bet my wife a quarter. I would say, I'm going to end up
there was no bet because there was no basis to that statement.
Right, it was just a feeling.
And so I called and I said, hey, are you home? She said, no, I'm in Worthington at my sister's. And I said, well, here's what just went down. And she's like, well, when? And she's like, awesome. I knew what your ultimate goal was.
Yeah.
And so congratulations. She's like, when? And I said, well, they told me anywhere from 2 weeks to 8 months.
Okay. Well, that's a nice timetable.
Yeah. So John Brown, who was my predecessor, was going to Security National Bank in Springfield to replace somebody that was retiring there, and so it was dependent on when that person retired, when all the dominoes.
Sure. Now, did John Brown provide a mentoring opportunity for you? Did you get to spend some time with him?
Yeah, we spent 2 weeks together, and he introduced me to people, and I'm grateful for that. And then the second week I was there, he's like, I'm going to get out of your way. And I'm here if you need me, but if you don't. And then we still talk semi-regularly, just bounce ideas. And if I have something that I have a question about, he would be there, or all the other affiliate presidents are as well.
When a new employee starts at Richland Bank and they ask you what Richland Bank means, what do you tell them?
It's taking care of our community. Is really the first and foremost thing. we obviously have to be profitable to be able to give back to the community.
You bet.
But taking care of them, meeting people on their journey. We meet their very first day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon after lunch with every new hire, and that's a big thing, is meeting people on their journey. Mm-hmm. Some people are just celebrating something great. Some people are just or sad about something.
Sure.
So meeting them where they're at and finding out how ways we can help them be successful.
Well, you help make life possible. That's what you do.
Well, that's what I always wanted a business card that said Dream Fulfiller.
Yeah, that's exactly who you are.
And I haven't got that approved by marketing yet, but
well, the people in marketing, they're tough. You got to watch out for them. But
really, what a banking does, it can save people time, save people money, or make people money.
Absolutely.
And it's not rocket science. It's just finding out what people's goals are and helping them get to where they want to go.
There seems to be something going on in downtown Mansfield. There's a vibe, there's an energy, things are happening. It's a lot different than it was when you started in 2016. You guys are playing a major role in that. Can you talk a little bit about how Richland Bank is helping this new regenesis, if you will, of downtown Mansfield?
Yeah, it's super exciting.
It is.
With the Mansfield Rising project that it's coming up, being involved in seeing how we can play a part in that. It's more than just Richland Bank. It's the community coming together with a common vision and common goals. And it started well before my time. It was RCDG in downtown Mansfield setting some of the goals and ambitions. Jody Perry with the Chamber of Commerce and RCDG has done a phenomenal job. And just being able to be part of something bigger than ourselves is really exciting.
If you look into a crystal ball 5 years down the road, what do you think is going to happen? Where do you see downtown Mansfield in 2024 or 25?
I see a resurgence of people walking downtown, being able to connect the lower part of downtown, down the north end of the hill to the upper part. Being able to connect the Imagination District to the Business District, and just seeing a constant energy. I mean, you can't. It's hard to put words into what I want to say, but it just that feeling, that emotion of, hey, this is a cool place to be.
It's going to be exciting to watch Mansfield grow and to participate in that.
It's already exciting. I guess I don't have the basis of what before was, and quite honestly, I don't want to look back. I want to look forward, and seeing out in 5 years from now is really exciting.
Yeah, for sure. So how'd you meet Amy?
We met in our first year seminar class in college.
Okay.
And
was it love at first sight?
For me, it was.
How long did it take to convince Amy to like you?
2.5 years.
There you go.
we were just friends, and I was like, I remember seeing the lady in the Adidas swishy pants walking up the hills of Muskingum. I'm like, I'm going to marry her one day.
See, there you go again. I'm going to be the president of the bank. I'm going to marry her. See, this is a thing.
Well, I didn't think it was going to happen. I have more opportunity to be the bank president than I did marry an Amy.
But you accomplished your goal. I
outkicked my coverage.
I wasn't going to say that, but there you go. But you have 2 kids now. What's life like being a bank president and being a husband and being a father of 2 young children?
It's a constant balance. I always preach to our associates having balance, but it's not every day 50-50, but making sure we spend time. I try and incorporate my family into what we do as much as possible. It doesn't feel like work then. Going to events, you'll see me with my kids and wife.
Nice. Pretty
regularly. Just they're pretty well behaved, and so it's nice to just bring them along. Final Fridays and things of that nature, and it's just fun. I love being a father. I love being a husband, and it's just a joy to be able to blend it all together.
I loved that age. When my kids were that young, those were the best of times. What kind of fun things do you like to do with your family?
Swimming, and we have a fireplace out back that just like to sit around the fire and have s'mores and whatnot.
Great.
That's a joy.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk. I'm not a dark chocolate guy.
All right, so you're a traditionalist.
Guess that's what you want to call
That's
me.
right.
Simple.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to travel to the beach or in the mountains or something we like to do for mental health. Get away every so often.
It's funny that you say that because I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal, I don't know, it was about a month or so ago, that said that the key to positive mental health is traveling, changing your surroundings and having a different experience. When you go to these trips, does it make you appreciate coming back to your home in Mansfield and the bank more?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to get away, but you do long for home after a 6-7 days is enough for me.
Yeah, I can do about 3 and then I start getting antsy.
It's depends on the weather too, where we're at, and I'm one of those ones that I want to stay at the Ritz-Carlton for Motel 6 prices. So
I understand.
I'm
Are you
always
familiar with Priceline? You can accomplish that.
Yeah, that's what I'm always. That's what sometimes we don't go on vacation because I said I've just searched for the last 3 months and I went everywhere in the world, but I didn't find a good deal. So
we're gonna have to wait. Sorry.
Exactly.
Good. Any pets in the family?
We do. We have a 10-year-old poodle and Shar-Pei.
Nice.
Onyx. She looks like a Labradoodle.
Okay.
And she's starting to slow down a little bit.
Well, it happens to the best of us.
That's for sure. But yeah, she's a good dog. That's for sure.
When you think about recruiting new employees for the bank, what do you look for?
Personality is really the huge piece of it. Being able to communicate, being able to listen, being able to learn are really important things. Having that community focus, and that's what I ask every new hire why. A lot of it has to do with you're always in the community involved. And
have you been asked to give the high school graduation speech? Because that seems to be something you should do. You have that aura about you.
Well, thank you. But
You're welcome.
I haven't done that. I did the one program for the North Central State graduation the trio program I was able to talk about last year.
So if a high school student came into your office and said, hey Chris, I'm looking to get into your field, what path would you recommend they take?
Really, I don't guess I wouldn't say if you want to get into banking or finance, it's starting in whatever opportunities are available at that time, and doing that to your best of your ability, and being able to take on more. It's not really the day-to-day job that is important. It's doing that and doing it very well, but the other stuff outside, being able to show the ability to take on more and to get that done plus some is really the key to getting things done.
And also part of it is, learning how to manage your finances. It always shocks me when you look at 18 to 25-year-olds, how so many of them don't understand the concept of credit or, investments or planning.
And that's what we've really focused on. We hired a new associate that focuses solely on that in community outreach in our schools, to focus on teachers to make sure that they have what they need to be successful, but also the students to provide financial literacy.
Sure.
And
because we don't have the home economics classes that we used to when I went to school.
Sure.
And they taught you about having a checking account and how to make a simple meal and how to do a load of laundry. Those things, unfortunately, have gone by the wayside.
That's it's an unfortunate reality that where we're at, and it's we're going to try our best to fill a void that and help people be successful.
That's cool that you're willing to take that step.
Yeah, it's exciting because a lot of it is just delayed gratification and needs and wants. As simple as that. Making sure you're making good financial decisions,
right,
and be frugal.
Now, as you're working with younger people, I would imagine that social media is a big part of what you do. How has Richland Bank come into the 21st century?
Social media is critically important. I've seen it as just on a personal standpoint, from folks that I've known from either in Muskingum or when I was in Newark or Central Ohio, that have had a different perception of Mansfield and Richland County by just highlighting some of the cool things that are going on, being out at Snow Trails or Pleasant Hill, or being in downtown Mansfield at the Wren or Cypress Winery.
So it's that association. You're providing a perception of association.
Yeah, and Jay Miller from DRM Productions would be one of the ones that when my wife, we found out we were moving to Mansfield, she started searching hashtags on Instagram, and he had the Richland Rocks and the Farm Tough hashtags, and she's like, hey, well, I know 8, 10, 12, 15 different cool things that are happening in Richland County before we even move here. And then from a bank's perspective, Stephanie Blanchard's done an amazing job, and Christy Massa as well, just making sure that we're highlighting where we're at and what we're doing, and so that people know what cool things are happening.
Sure. Now, the flip side of that is that Mansfield is an older town, and there are a lot of people of retirement age in this community. It's a big part of our population. How do you balance the one side with the youth, and it's about to happen with dealing with people in the twilight of their lives?
Yeah, we have a Freedom Years program that is for people that are 50 or greater that are clients of our bank, and Barb Schoep Miller, who just celebrated her 35th anniversary with the bank.
I read that. Wow, that's a big deal.
Is in charge of that program, and so we're able to provide safe banking for seniors. Trips, whether they're long trips, international trips, or just a day trip, and other just seminars and fun things to connect people. I guess that's really what we do, and I think we do very well, is be connectors of people.
Do you still give a toaster away when you open a checking account?
For you, I will. If you need
for
one.
Me, yeah, if I need one. Yeah, we might. You never know when you might need one.
Yeah.
But that's what I remember. Is you went in, and this would have been like the early '70s. And you went into the bank, you opened a checking or a savings account, and you got a gift, and that was kind of a cool thing. I never forgot it.
Our world's changed because the majority of people we see don't come into the bank.
It's true.
We can do home loans via online banking. They can call in and do things with a mobile app. Or
I have a confession to make. I've only been in the branch once, and I have an account with your bank. I do everything on my app. Everything.
And that's where the balance comes in, because there are some people that come in every day, and that's just their routine of what they do, and we're there for those people as well. But it's, again, people meeting people on their journey. How do you like to be communicated with? If you want face-to-face, we have 3 offices that are open 7 days a week.
Yeah, you got to do everything.
If you want 24/7, we have a 24/7 call center or the mobile app.
Right.
Online applications, or in our commercial and trust and investment world, a lot of times we'll go to the business.
Yeah.
Or we'll go to the individual and help them in that regard, so they don't have to be inconvenienced of coming to the bank.
And sometimes you find a Richland Bank location in another place of business.
It's the world's getting smaller, that's for sure. We our family of bank has 2 banks in North and South Carolina now, and I got a call.
That's an excuse for a good trip. That's what that is.
I got a call a couple of weeks ago from one of their associates that said, "Hey, somebody from Hendersonville, North Carolina is moving back to Canton, and would you guys be willing to help them finance their home loan?" So the world is getting smaller. Most people were going from Ohio to North Carolina.
Here's what you tell the people from Hendersonville: if they bring you some apples from Skytop Apple Orchard, then you'll help them.
Skytop
Apple Orchard. It's beautiful country.
I'll have to let them know then.
They have an apple festival every year.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Heiner has been our guest on the inaugural edition of the podcast called Coffee Talk with Jay Fox with WMFD News. If you're going to make one parting comment to the listening and viewing community, what would you say?
Thank you for supporting us.
Well, thank you for supporting us. Yeah. It's a two-way street.
It's exciting time to be in Richland County, and look forward to seeing where the future goes. And if you have ideas or you have anything to get involved with and you don't know how to do it, please let me know, and I'll help connect you to get things done, because it's a collective effort to where we're going in the future.
And I bet you are as accessible as you claim to be.
I hope to be so.
There you go. Chris Heiner, the president of Richland Bank, and also one of the 10 under 40 this year. Go to WMFD.com and see the 10 under 40 profile. You actually did a really good job on camera. And thanks for being our first guest on Coffee Talk with Jay Fox, live from the Cove Coffee Shop in downtown Ontario, Ohio. Take care, everybody.